welcome to the channel. Today what we're going to talk about is a brand new feature that was just released that allows you to share your Power Virtual Agent chatbot with some of your colleagues. So with that said, let's dive right into the content. Let's talk a little bit about why this episode is important. So previously, Power Virtual Agents had a single ownership model, which meant you as an owner can obviously go ahead and build and deploy your bots, but you weren't able to share it with anyone. And so what that led to was some constraints around how you would collaborate, because you would have to A, go ahead and share your credentials, which generally isn't an acceptable practice, or B, you ended up in a service account model where multiple people would be logged on with that same account. Once again, may conflict with some organizational principles around security. But the good news now is that you can go ahead and share with another colleague or colleagues, and you can collaboratively work on your bot, which will ease the application lifecycle management of that bot and then give you a little more agility as you go ahead and promote that bot from one environment to another. Because once again, previously you were bound by your account itself. And so on July 10th, which was just a few days ago as of this recording, this new sharing feature emerged in production. And this will greatly help you folks that are in enterprise scenarios where you want to be able to collaborate and work on chatbot solutions together. Because once again, it's not just about dialogues either. There's also the ability to build out new flows and have those flows being available as part of the solution as well. So now you can truly parallelize a lot of your activities and get your chatbot to market much faster. Before we dive deeper into the content, I wanted to let you know about an emerging community found at serverlessnotes.com. This is a community resource that covers best practices, tips, and latest announcements built on contributions by technology enthusiasts from around the globe. On serverlessnotes.com, you'll find content related to Power Automate, Azure Logic Apps, Azure Service Bus, Azure Functions, and much, much more. Serverlessnotes.com is brought to you by Serverless 360, a portal that is focused on operations and support for Microsoft Azure serverless resources. Now, this is a complementary tool to the Azure portal, and it helps organizations in supporting Azure serverless applications. You can find out more about Serverless 360 at serverless360.com. Now, before we get into the demo, I did want to share some additional information about the sharing experience. I would say there's a lot of considerations that are good to understand before you dive too deep into sharing. And so I thought I would call some of those out with you beforehand. Now, these nuggets of information are coming from the documentation. I've got the link here on the slide itself, but I will include it in the description of this video so that you can just go ahead and click on it and review. So first off, when we talk about sharing a bot, you certainly aren't going to get around any sort of specific licenses. So you do need to ensure that people do have the appropriate license when going ahead and building out your bot. Now, another thing is, at least at this point in time, is you can only share with individual users. You can't share it with a security group. And these users must be inside of your organization. So that is something to consider as well. So the next piece of information that we need to go ahead and take into consideration is security roles. And so as we see here on the left-hand side, we do need to ensure that the user that we are going to share this bot with has the environment maker security role in place. Now, what this generally means is if you have someone that's already building flows or building Power Apps, that they should have that environment maker role already. But if they don't, you're going to run into an issue from that perspective. And there are some experiences that do allow this to be assigned during provisioning as well, but it is something that you do need to be aware of. So it's best off to go ahead and make sure you've got all of your users with the right license, the right roles, and those roles need to be assigned within the specific environment that you're in. And so that's another important thing when we see the transcript viewer, right? So when we think about transcripts, which basically like your chat history, you do need to ensure that they have the bot transcript viewer role assigned to them. Now, in the default environment, this should be taken care of already, as called out here. In the default environment, every user has the bot transcript viewer role assigned to them. However, as soon as we get outside of the default environment, that is where you need to ensure that these folks have the right role assigned as well. So just to recap, make sure you got the right license in place, make sure you have the right environment permissions in place, and then make sure that you have the right role assigned as it pertains to transcript viewers. Now, there might be some scenarios where you don't want your bot maker to have that access, so that's something that would be optional, but just something that you should really be aware of. Now, the next bit is quite interesting, and I was curious about how this would work before this feature even shipped, and that comes down to our Power Automate flows. So flows obviously is a separate service. It's in the Power Platform family, but it is a distinct entity, a distinct asset that is managed outside of Power Virtual Agents. So when I go ahead and I share a chatbot, and that chatbot includes one or more Power Automate flows, as that user who has just been shared with, I can go ahead and see obviously inside of the topic itself that this specific flow exists, and I can go ahead and click on the view flow details, and I will get transitioned over here. But what we will find is that I don't have sufficient permissions to go ahead and edit that specific bot. Now, that doesn't mean this is a dead end. What this does mean is that you, as the original bot author, also needs to go in and add ownership for the users that you're sharing with, so that they would be able to go ahead and access this. Once they are shared or designated as an owner or co-owner in this specific scenario, then if I go ahead and click on this link, I come over to flow, no problem, because I'm already owner of the flow. So very important to understand this concept as well. So with that said, let's go ahead and let's see this in action. Okay, so I am now in the Power Virtual Agents Maker portal. I am logged in as Paige, and in this case, Paige is the bot owner, the original author of this bot. We can see here that Paige has also shared with Brooke. And so this sharing occurs at the bot level itself. You can see I'm on the home page for my employee self-service bot. As part of this bot, I've got some topics. Now, what I did do here is I created a new instance of a bot. And then what I did is I just added a topic. In this case, it's a weather topic, and it also includes a flow just so that I can show you that whole experience itself. Very simple. Give a city, get a response. Nothing too complicated. So if I come back to the home and I want to go ahead and I want to share this, I go ahead and I click on the share button itself. And what we can see right now is we have two owners, or two people that have access to this bot. One is Paige, the original owner, and then we've got Brooke, who is a manager. So this is someone that this bot has already been shared with, and we can see that Brooke has access to manage the bot, including viewing, editing, configuring, sharing, publish, but not deleting it because she is not the original owner. She can go ahead and create and add flows to the bot, and she can also go ahead and view transcripts. Now, the reason why she can do this is considered the default environment for this specific tenant. Now, I went ahead and I logged in as Brooke, and I went ahead and made some changes to one topic. So if we come back over to topics, we can see that Brooke made a change an hour ago. And so that is something that does get called out. We can see the modified by. And so that allows you to go ahead and see who has access to your bot and who's actually making changes. So it gives you a little bit of an audit trail. I wouldn't say it gives you like the individual actions, but you'd be able to see who is the one that went ahead and made the changes most recently. Now, one thing that has also happened is on the flow side of things, we've also gone ahead and added Brooke to being an owner of this flow, which would allow Brooke the ability to go ahead and to view and edit that. So while I'm here, I'm going to add the new user, in this case myself, as a co-owner of this flow, because I'm soon going to share the chatbot with myself as well. Remember, I'm currently logged in as Paige. So let's go back to the chatbot itself. So we're back at home and our employee self-service bot. I'm going to go ahead and click on share. And then I'm just going to go ahead and type in my name. And we can see that I'm going to have these permissions. And once again, this is the result of being in the default environment. I can choose to include an email if I want to notify that person by email. And then it's as simple as clicking share. And then it just takes a few seconds. And that will be enough for Kent to be able to go ahead and access this bot. So that is now complete. And Kent now has access to this bot. Okay, so now I've opened up a new browser tab. As you can see here, I'm logged in as Kent. And in this case, I am logged into customer service bot. Now, what we would do is go ahead and hit refresh, and we can see that we have the employee self-service bot available to us. So let's just flip over to that specific bot. And here, if we go ahead and look near the share button, we can see all of the users that have access to this bot. So we've got Paige, Brooke, and now myself. Now I would be able to, as a manager, be able to go ahead and further share this bot out. So that is possible as well. I wouldn't have the ability to delete it though. Paige is still the only person that can delete it because she is the owner of this bot and she originally created it. Now let's go ahead into topics, and then let's go and look at the weather topic, and we can go ahead and just make some very simple changes here to the authoring experience itself. Now we'll just keep things very simple. Let's just capitalize weather and topic, and then we'll just put 3 exclamation points. And we can go ahead and click on save. The other thing that we can do is we can now head over to that Power Automate flow, and we do show up as an owner, which means we can go ahead and edit this. And let's just make a very simple change here. And instead of having this dash, let's just have a star instead. Okay, so as Kent, I've gone ahead and made changes to the bot, made changes to the flow, and then I'm done my work, and I can let Paige know, yeah, I went ahead and made those changes. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip back, and now I'm logged in as Paige again, and I can go ahead and see that, yeah, sure enough, we've got the 3 exclamation points here as well. And now I can go ahead and run the bot itself. And here's where we should be able to see the changes from our flow being reflected as part of our call. Here we can see that we have the star that has been introduced here. So that's it. Hopefully that gives you a glimpse into how you can go ahead and collaborate with multiple people. In this case, I showed you 3 different scenarios where we have 3 different users in the mix. And ultimately, we can start to collaborate as a team in order to go ahead and to promote our bot. So thanks for going ahead and checking out this episode. Really would appreciate a like and subscribe if this is content that you enjoy. If there's any ideas that you'd love to see for the show, I do have the Ask the Audience feature, so go ahead and add that to the comments. And if you're not following me on Twitter, you can find me at Weare, so I'd encourage you to do that in order to see what's up and all of my latest content as it gets produced. Thanks and take care.